In this video tutorial, what I'd like to talk about is postings. And postings are something that you can utilize to update your website on a regular basis. And you'll see postings a lot of times on websites that, for example, if I'm going to run a website on real estate, I may be posting information maybe once or twice a week that would be helpful to clients, like helpful tips in buying a home, helpful tips to sell your home, how to stage your home. And so these would be like little, if you will, little news articles that I would put, and they would be on the front page. In other words, it would be the page when I initially open up my website. You would see it. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create one of these posts. Now to do this, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to my dashboard. And I'm going to go this time to posts. Under posts, I'd like to point out a couple things that you notice. You have all posts, add a new post. One thing that's unique to posts is something called category, because as I create these posts, I would want to be able to place them in some location so that I can later on find them. So for example, I may want to put all tips on buying a home under one category, all tips on listing a home for sale under another category, all tips on financing a home in another category. So what I'm going to do in this particular case is I'm just going to go ahead and click on categories, and I'm going to put right here, I'm going to put something, just call it home buying tips, and that's the name of the category that I'm going to have. And this is going to live by its own, so there's going to be no nothing else that'll be below it. And I can put this will be a group, for the lack of a better word, of articles on buying a home. Period. So that's just a description of what it's going to be, and then I go ahead in here and I just say, okay, I'm going to add a new category, and now you see I have home buying tips up here. So then what we're going to do is talk about how to create a posting and then put this posting inside of that category. So now I have my category that I've created, and I've called this home buying tips. If I want to create more categories, I would just put it here, like if I would say something like home selling tips, and then I could put a description. Then again, I could go ahead down here and just make sure I save that category. In other words, categories are kind of like file folders, something about organizing these things called postings. And postings are going to be kind of like news stories, if you will. If you were utilizing this website to do things like let everybody know how you were doing on your European vacation, you might be writing a story every couple days showing where you're visiting London or Paris or Rome or whatever. So that's the concept here, is you're going to be posting stories about what you're doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new post, and I'm going to call this home buying tips. So what I'm going to do is just click in here, and I'm going to call it home buying tips. Now you can get a lot more creative in what you want to put in here. I also want to mention you want to keep this a fairly short, because later on this article or this category can be a menu item, just like we had for pages. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to put a picture of me in here, because I'm the one that's making the posting. And I've already uploaded a whole series of photographs all along, and I actually have them in a library. And you're going to find when you do this that you are going to have in your media library, after you've uploaded things, a whole bunch of pictures. In fact, you may find that you have duplicates and triplicates, and you have to kind of delete them. But anyway, I'm going to go to the second one here, which I know I have some pictures of me. I'm going to click on this, and what I'm looking for here is to make sure I have the right one. I didn't in that particular case, so I'm going to pick the other one, which is right above that, because I know that I have a photograph of me that's the right dimensions. Let me go back up here again. Let me go to the number 2 again. and go down here. And this is the photograph that I have that I want to utilize. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that I want to go ahead and insert into the post. And you'll see the picture is now there. If you remember correctly, what I'm going to do is I want this cursor up at the top. So I'm going to right click, edit, and I'm going to put it so that it'd be in the upper left hand corner so the text will float around it. And of course I want to go ahead and update that, and the cursor will now be up here. Now what I've already done ahead of time, so you don't have to watch me type, is that I've created the text and I've put it in Notepad. So I'm going to pull up Notepad here for a minute, and I'm just going to, it's not that one, it's the other one that I have here, and I'm just going to scroll this down a little bit so you can see it. It's right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy this whole thing. Right click, copy, and then I'm going to go right into the post, and I'm going to right click and paste. And you see I have the information in the post. A couple things that I'm going to do before I finish making this post is that I'm going to go ahead up here and bring this text up a little bit higher. I'm going to make this a little bit bolder, and I think I'm going to go ahead and change the size of the font to maybe something a little bit bigger. Down here, I think I'm okay. And then this piece right here, what I'm going to do is I want this as a link that I had put in here. So I'm just going to highlight this right here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it, or cut it actually. And then I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to go up here to where my link is. And I'm just going to right click, and I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to say OK, and you see that this is in here. So let's take a look at what I've got. I'm going to save my draft, and I'm going to go ahead and preview it, and you see now I have my article in here, my posting. It just says when buying a home there are many steps that you must complete. The Federal Housing Administration has created an excellent guide that covers the 9 steps in buying a home. The guide covers each of these 9 steps in detail and includes several videos which explain these steps in detail. Shown below is a link to their site. I click on this link, and of course it's going to open up, and there's the link. So the whole idea here is the fact that you're able to create, if you will, like a story. Let me go back to the dashboard and go back to the posts again. Posts up here. I'll go to all posts just like I did pages. I'm going to go to home buying tips. Actually, I'm going to go back here a little bit. And you see that now I have the tips. And so now that is the step on how we've made this posting. In future tutorials, what we're going to do is we're going to link this to, if you will, the menu, so that when people log on, they will see my postings.